It's Friday. It's 12:30-ish, and it can only mean Something for the Weekend podcast featuring myself, David Mintz, and the other guy. They call him Mr. Lover Lover. They call him Mr. Bombastic, Telefantastic. Some people refer to him as the Hot Stepper. They say, "Here comes the Hot Stepper. He's the lyrical gangster."
I quite like that.
What are the Jerry Lyons? How are you, Jerry?
What an intro. I'm good. I'm good. I've just come back from Eastbourne, from the shops in Eastbourne.
Oh, lovely. Did you get anything nice?
Yeah, I got some Christmas presents for Wendy and Charlotte, and I got myself some gloves because my hands were cold. So I bought myself some gloves.
Are you the sort of, traditional gentleman that has a pair of driving gloves always?
No, driving gloves. Two types of people wear driving gloves, yeah? Posh people, really posh people.
Okay.
And murderers.
Right. And Alan Partridge.
And yeah, Dan. Yeah, and Alan Partridge.
And Alan Partridge. Jerry, it's lovely to see you.
You too.
It's nice to catch up with you, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes there at the Estate Agent Content Club. There's a lot of things coming out.
Yeah, it's busy planning ahead and reviewing, and I know we're going to talk about why we think it's so. Yes, serial killers definitely make it. Serial killers wear driving gloves, 100%, and it's the black fin driving gloves. But
we're also going to be talking about wrapping your year. And I was listening to a lovely podcast by Katie the Grifter Griffin and Martin Bohm. They've got the House of Property podcast, and they were talking all about wrapping, about how Rightmove has stolen an idea from Spotify where you get your year statistics. So X many people saw your property online on Rightmove, and that is the equivalent of, I don't know, a stadium full of people, whatever it is. They're giving these statistics. And it's quite a nice little sort of video that they've given to each agent to use. Yeah. But this concept of actually taking some key stats and collating them in order to express something at this time of the year is actually something that agents can do, that businesses should do, and it's something that you have done.
We did it last year as well, by the way. It's not a new thing.
I know you're way ahead of the curve as usual. So far ahead, he's in a different industry. He's in a different time.
No, you know what I heard, and I heard this, and I thought it's such a good phrase. One agent, I was talking with an agent, and he was talking about another agent who he thinks is exceptional. And I told him something that the exceptional agent does, and he just went, we're playing drafts, they're playing chess. They're playing a different game from us. I love that phrase. They're playing drafts. Sorry, we're playing drafts, they're playing chess. He was just like, how are we going to catch up with these?
We're not even in the same league because we're not even playing the same game.
Sport. Yeah. But no, wrapping up is a great way. What's this, Simon? David.
This I've stolen from your Facebook page, but this is a great example of wrapping up, done nicely and visually. Talk me through it, Jerry.
So this is basically a template that we actually share with our members as well, because the estate agents, and I don't know how I could, but I could send you one that somebody's actually done for their estate agency for last year. I believe it was, they did it. So this is just a wrap up of really of the sort of things that are important to us. We worked out that we wrote 162 syndicated articles, 78 Canva videos, gave away a few quid to charity, helped raise $9,000 for the local food bank through the cost of living guide, and just our monthly membership average, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, and one award win, should have been more, but we didn't enter them. So I suppose we can't be aggrieved.
You've got to be in it to win it. You know that, yeah.
But I think agents can do like let's take it back to an agency. Agencies can talk about their viewings. They can talk about completions. They can talk about, and they should talk about what they do for the community. They could even have a bit of fun and say how many cups of tea they've made within the office. No, that I think that was one we did last year. Yeah.
I'm whilst you're talking, I'm desperately scrambling around online to try and find the one. There's a great example of it because I know that Knightsbridge, which is Luke St. Clair's outfit, do a lovely little monthly roundup with that. So whilst you tell us, so using this, right, obviously, don't use it as a bragging tool because that's not going to work, is it? Even as a humble brag.
It's a bit of a humble brag, let's be honest. Well, our one is. Well, I'm not going to lie. But it kind of shows the amount of work that actually goes into stuff. And in fact, I think estate agents probably have more interesting stats to the public. This was done because we're only appealing to a certain demographic of estate agents. But estate agents, they can get. I'm trying to find the one like you did, like Luke. But Michael Leighton's estates up in sort of Bradford area, Yorkshire, they did a really good one. And really, it's really nice and visual. But you're only limited really by your imagination and how much you know your data or your stats, or Rightmove will provide you with half of it, I'd imagine, and you just take it from there.
I think it's all about being on top of those stats. We're blessed now within our industry that there's so many good sources of data in order to keep a track of your. Because I mean that's the name of the game, isn't it? When you're going out to try and win new business, you need to demonstrate some key differences, and so we're all on top of we should be. We all should be on top of our stats. After all, isn't that what they're ranking us on in sort of things like the best estate agent guide, etc., etc.? It's all done off those statistics, and I think it helps when you're going in trying to sort of sell yourself as a business. You're going in to speak to people about selling their properties. They're going to want to know some stuff. Yeah. They don't necessarily care that you're number one, and if you're not number one, use the other statistics. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. What's that? There was a quote. There's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics.
Yes.
I find statistics a hard word to say. But you know what's interesting? I've always thought of the 3 S's when I've never been an estate agent, but whenever I've been pitched to one, I've always thought, have they used the 3 S's? So the 3 S's are, have they talked about stats, backed up what they're saying with stats? Have they used stories? Like, oh yeah, your bungalow, because blah, blah, blah. Mrs. Smith's got a bungalow like this, and we share it. And stats, stories, and social proof. So if they're equipped with that in their pitch or their marketing pack, that's how we got involved, because we were writing marketing packs for agents. I think they stand a good chance of them getting instructed. Winning the instruction, David. Winning.
So are you going to rap for us?
Do you want to know how I got an interest in English? Because I got into rapping. When I was about 12, 13, I just liked playing football. And then I got into hip hop. And then I got into English off the back of it. And then my Miss Premitza, I always remember her, Mrs. Premitza. She was probably my favourite teacher because I could just write stories and used to write raps. I've been on the radio when I was 15, 16, London radio, Night FM it was called. When I was 16.
Wow. Yeah. So who's your number one inspiration other than me? I mean, like when we talk about hip hop,
you and Tom McGee.
The two whitest guys in the industry.
Yeah, no, in hip hop
stars.
I think the best rapper, skillfully, Rakim. Jay-Z's very good. I know he's commercial and everyone knows him, but he is very, very good at rapping. Eminem is brilliant, so it's yeah. Should we have a rap battle?
It's not happening. It ain't happening.
We could do that.
We could do that. We have got enough vocab between the two of us. So that's interesting. So in terms of using those stats, is there anything else in terms of just summarizing? You used to do you did a great video one year of all the stuff that we'd all been through. But those are also easy to put together if you just take a bit of time to collate it all and to summarize everything.
You know what? They're easy to put together, right? And this. I had this discussion with somebody the other day. One of the most undervalued things in business, right, is creativity. Two things: generosity and creativity. So undervalued in business. It's unbelievable, because we got really creative with that video. And it went down a storm, and we won clients off the back of it. So there was it did serve a purpose. But I think what agents could do is as simple as, like just doing a video review to camera. A couple of minutes, have some paperwork to hand so you're backing it up with stats, tell a few stories within it. And I think agencies need to set their tone for next year, and they can use a wrap-up video to do it. Say, right, we're thinking this is going to happen next year. It's like me and you have spoken before about this. Next year is very uncertain. So offer something in your marketing that's going to be certain. We will guarantee you a certain level of service. Can't guarantee
whatever happens next year, we're there. This is what you can expect from us. Yeah.
We're there, we care. We've got wonderful hair. The rap battle has begun.
Whoa. That is amazing. That is amazing. No, but I think that consistency is great. That's that reliability that people want to hear, because if all else fails, you know what they say. I think we spoke about this before, but if you're trying to fly an aeroplane and you can't see where you're going, you have to rely on your instruments. You have to rely on the stuff that you can prove, and that's always going to be your service levels and the value that you can add to people's lives.
I mean, all the predictions next year it's going to be a tough, definitely first and second quarter. If I drop that mic, I will break the floor. I break that wooden floor because I'm sitting in the lounge at the moment.
That's a big microphone, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to tell you that this man is really overcompensating for something.
It's called a Blue Yeti, the microphone.
Really That's good. A very popular podcaster's microphone, for entry level. You didn't know that, did you? What else is turning your head this week? What's impressed you? What's inspiring you? Where can we get our dose of something for the weekend that will give us a little bit of a smile and a hope in our hearts?
I stumbled on a podcast, and it is a little bit hit and miss, and it's called The Rebel Entrepreneur. But they've had a really good episode on it about time management. And I think it's really interesting, because somebody I was speaking to the other day was saying, I've got no time to do this or that or the other. I was thinking, hold on, you're always on Facebook. You're literally always on Facebook. And he's obviously not using his time right. So this podcast was just really
Hi, Tom. Hi, Tom McGee. Hope you're well.
He weren't Tom, actually, but yeah, we can bundle Tom into that. But yeah, this time management podcast was really good, and how to do it. And this is an interesting question for you. How do you judge if a day has been, if you've succeeded in the day? What makes it?
Well, we could talk about this, because this is actually a very interesting subject, because I believe that one of the things that we're most guilty of is sometimes not appreciating how much we have actually got done during the day. So sometimes you just need to sit down and, like that whole exercise you're meant to do every day about what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And it's about trying to see your cup as half full rather than half empty. Yeah. Do that with the work that you do as well. Just try and work out, even if it's just routine stuff, work out what it is that you are doing, how you're spending that time. But the key to this is most of us don't set goals for a day. So you might have a generalized goal. You might have all the things you're running around right now. So I know I've got to record with Jerry at 12:30. And if I get a break before my next one at 2:00, I'm going to run off and do some shopping or whatever it may be that we all need to fit in. Everybody's got a million different things running around their minds. But if you set clear goals as to what you want to achieve that day, you're going to stand a better chance of doing it. So part of that whole art of time management is to dictate to yourself as well what it is that if you only got 3 things done that day, what is it that as a minimum you will accept as a standard from yourself? I think that's important.
Does eating, going to the toilet, combing hair count as 3 things?
I'd argue there's a 3 very important things. But genuinely, you might say that, but how many estate agents do I know? Loads, that end up eating a sandwich in the car at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the way to a viewing, not feeling very good about themselves or life because they're running themselves down. How many people do I know that didn't go to the toilet today for 2 or 3 hours because they were just too busy to get up and do all of that? You've got to make time for those things. You joke there about eating, going to the toilet, combing your hair, but take a break, have something to eat, have a waz, and then make sure that your hair's okay on the way out. That's life.
Perfect day. But it's you know what, you do raise a very interesting point, and it's something that I think a lot of the really top estate agents are in good physical condition. 2 or 3 that spring to my mind whenever I'm thinking of really, really good estate agents, they're all in good nick. So is that because they can manage their time really well and they make time for their health?
It's priorities, isn't it? It's priorities. Yeah. So I know that when I am fitter, which isn't today, but when I am, I perform better because my mind I'm just less lethargic. I'm not looking for the next sugar rush, if you like, because I'm on it. But that's what they say. There's those guys, those nutcases that wake up at sort of 5 a.m. and they all go off for a 5K jog and they spend half an hour meditating and they have their macrobiotic breakfast and a shake for lunch and all that sort of stuff. It's not realistic for all of us. These things. So I think you've got to stop beating yourself up. And if your version of exercise this week is a long walk with the dog, go and do it. Yeah. Just I think the key is you've got to switch your mind off at some point. You've got to feed your body and your soul, and lift your head out from all that work that you're in, above the clouds.
And now's a good time to do that sort of stuff, isn't it? We're starting to wind down. And then hopefully we'll have a couple of weeks break, or at least a few days. People have got to get out of the office and take time to chill and just relax.
What I want to know is, Jerry, because you've avoided this really, it's easy asking a fat man about exercise. Thank you for that, by the way. But what about you and your run? You used to run religiously and then you just went quiet on it. Like, when are you getting back to it?
I have a very addictive personality, right? And I was addicted to running. And then I did the Brighton Marathon and I ticked that box. And then I got injured during the run. So now I'm seeking another addiction because at the moment it's just Doritos. I'm just addicted to Doritos.
But what are you doing to get your exercise fix?
Dog walking. My dog is the best. Everyone's dog is the best. Dogs are the best. You've got a dog, right?
Yeah, he only bites me on average maybe twice a week. So, he's really good.
I prefer dogs to humans any day of the week. Give me a dog any day of the week compared to a human.
100%.
Apart from you and my clients and family. Well, not even my family. Some of them can,
You're doing a lot of dog walking.
A lot of dog walking. And it's a great time to listen to podcasts when I walk. And I get up early. That's a funny thing. I do feel like I was up at 4 o'clock today just because I woke up at 4 o'clock. But I work from 4:30 to 7. Charlotte gets up at 7. I've pretty much done all my day's work. Because my line of work is and I'm most creative. And I wonder if there's something for estate agents there, like, when are they at their best? Is that the time to do their prospecting calls? Or are they governed by other things? Because it's more difficult because people, you're dealing with other people.
You need to be able to prospect people when you can catch them. And when you can talk to them. And a lot of agents say, well, that's what you should do in the first sort of hour or two of the day. When people are still sort of fresh and do it that way. You can't call them too early because people get pissed off about being disturbed before 9 o'clock. We're very traditional in this country. Although I think anybody's fair game after 8. I've actually had most success in the evenings because I'm more relaxed.
When you
Because
say
I'm not on
evenings, what time are we talking? This is interesting.
So if I did prospecting, I would do it sort of after 6 o'clock at night, between say 6 and 8, maybe even 6 and 9.
Yeah.
If you got a phone call from me at 8:30 at night and I'm still working and I'm talking to you about houses and about trying to help you, I think I'm pretty dedicated. I think you think that, but you genuinely probably get a better version of me, because if I'm less stressed at that point because the phones aren't ringing anymore. I'm not trying to do 20 things at once. I'm only now concentrating on that. And I think that can also be, it's interesting. I think this kind of post-COVID era, have you noticed that you get more messages from people that say, hey, Jerry, I would like to talk to you. What time is it convenient for me to talk? And you end up making like a little appointment time. I just used to pick up the phone and call people and go, right, launch into the conversation. But nowadays I get a lot of messages from people asking for a catch up. Can we set a time for a coffee, or can I see you, or can I talk to you? When can I call you? You can do that if you want a soft lead in as well with a prospective vendor. You can drop them a note at night saying, hey, Jerry, it's David. I'd love to just have 5 minutes of your time. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you. When do you want me to call you tomorrow?
Yeah. I prefer when I know when someone's calling, especially if I'm in writing mode. Well, I switch the phone off if I'm writing mode or dealing with the team and that. So I prefer someone to let me know they're calling. And I hate people saying they'll call at 3 and they call at 3:10.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes life gets in the way. Right, Jerry, what is your one tip for the weekend? What should we all be doing this weekend in order to further our lives and careers?
If you haven't already, think of how your agency is going to review 2022. If you haven't already, and get it out there before December the 21st, December 22nd, because that's when we've noticed like drops, total engagement drops, because everyone's thinking, oh, Christmas, last minute, and the schools break up and that sort of thing. So review your year. You know what? Even if you're not going to share it publicly, just do it as a team. Say, what have we done well? What have we done badly? What can we do better? How can we help our community more? How are we going to make sure 2023 is decent for us? Because it can still be good. I listened to a podcast the other day about the financial situation. This guy said someone's got to win. In every industry, someone wins.
It's true.
So why not you? Why not you, David?
It could be
right.
you.
You normally ask me this question, but I'm going to turn this on its head. What are you doing this weekend?
I am going to take the dog on a long walk. That's for sure. I'm actually going to do the opposite of I'm going to try not to work on anything this weekend. I need some brain space. But next week, I think I will start to put together a wrap for both Kerfuffle and also might even look at the agency angle on that as well, and just have a look if I can put one of those together. I think it's interesting.
Normally in Co have had a storming year with the awards and all this.
They've had a great year. So the awards and everything, it's great, to talk about it. But let's face it, that's just a bit of vanity. What I think I love is the sort of stats that Luke uses, because I think they are just, when you look at the figures, they're overwhelmingly a good sort of indicator of how hard you're working. Yeah. So, for argument's sake, if you were to say over the course of the last year, we've carried out 9,000 viewings, it's a lot. Now, obviously, you didn't sell 9,000 houses, but you may have done genuinely thousands of viewings this year, and you probably have done. Maybe you've valued or you've been out to appraise X many houses. Maybe you've had X many conversations with clients. how many of, and each conversation that you have with somebody that doesn't directly work for you, isn't a supplier, is therefore somebody that you are helping to move one way or the other. That's it. They're a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you can say something like, this year I've had 3,000 conversations with people to try and help them move, and those are the things that resonate probably with an audience. They resonate with a potential customer as well, because they genuinely see that you are working at those things, and those are the stats that they care about. It's how much you're, how many viewings are you doing? Actually, how many offers did you deal with this year? How many offers did you improve? You might want to even talk about how much, how many thousands of pounds you beat your clients' expectations by, whatever.
That's a great stat, by the way. How, if you knew it, over the asking price, how much did you get for your clients? Like that. That's a really, really good. I don't know how you would put it together, but it's a great stat.
I mean, I've seen someone like Luke do it before. You can actually, like you see some agents go, this year we've sold 20 million pounds worth of property, or whatever it is, 200 million pounds worth of properties, where you collate all the sort of average values of the properties that you've sold over the last 12 months. But you can also then use that as a percentage as well, and you can work out what, on average, is your percentage that you get over. I think Megan's got a great point. There are services like 20EA that can give you the stats for your business, and just use them, shout about them, because those are the bits that I think people are interested in. They're not necessarily interested about how many awards you've won. It's nice if you have done, but they're interested about how you can benefit and help people like them, and how many other people do. I think your community angle, I think sort of talking about, you did it in a very self-facing way when you were talking about it, because I flashed this infographic on the screen and you went, so we've written 162 articles, we've done 78 Canva videos, we raised a couple of quid along the way for charity. That's quite a couple of quid right there, Jerry. I mean, 7,600 through your Karma Club, 9,000 through that. That is not, it's not small money.
No, it is though. It's part of what we do. It's, like it's just part of what we do. That's probably why we didn't. Yeah. But
I think that's amazing. So if you as an agency have done 12 community projects this year, say it, tell them how much money have you raised for charity.
If you're using these stats, Sasha Scott springs to mind. They do the litter pick. A little stat off the top of the head. They must average, even if it's an average, they do it. Let's say they do it 6 times a year. They've probably collected 20 bags every time. So like 100. My maths is shocking. 120 bags of rubbish taken off the streets of Newark. I think it's there. Do you know what I mean? Little stats like that, a bit unusual ones. We didn't really throw an unusual one in this time round. Last time round, we put one inappropriate joke. I told a joke at a team meeting, and everyone just went like that. It wasn't that bad either. It wasn't racist, wasn't homophobic, it wasn't sexist.
Would you say at lunchtime on a Friday online, or is it not like that?
I learned my lesson. I get cancelled.
Okay, we don't want you getting cancelled. Jerry, thank you as ever for everything that you're doing for us all year round, and particularly in the run-up to Christmas. We need to record your Christmas video. That's what we need to do next. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend. Keep doing your raps. Listen to Martin and Katie's podcast. They've got lots of great info in there about how to do the raps as well. Look at Jerry's infographics that he puts together. Follow agents like Michelle Gallagher, Luke Sinclair. Who's the other dude you were talking about?
Michael Leighton. Leighton's a state agency. Good one. Yeah, there'll be lots of bringing out now because we've got the content out there.
Lots of great inspiration out there. Go and copy it. Go and be the best you can be. Take care, folks. Mints and Lions out.